Sid Show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGurk.
So Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
What is this?
77 WABC.
Woo!
Coming to you live from the campus of Hofstra University for tonight's monster debate between Republican choice Donald Trump and Democrat choice Hillary Clinton. It is, in fact, the Bernie and Sid Show. Live again from Hofstra. Good morning, Bernard.
Sidney Rosenberg, man, in the house. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's looking very dapper.
Thank you, sir.
Very handsome.
Thank you, as you do.
Even jacked. You look jacked even through your nice, beautiful shirt and sports jacket.
Well, this is a high bar shirt, so it was made specifically for me. And I will tell you that when I bought this jacket and these pants at Macy's, I went to the tailor and they took it in just like a high bar shirt would,
right,
to mix, to fit my body. So
did they let out the crotch area just
no,
to accommodate
my
your
balls are killing me.
Hey, listen, this is a very exciting event here, and all the live coverage here at Hofstra on WABC is sponsored by BMW of Freehold. Let's get that out of the way. A great outfit, BMW of Freehold.
And all the debate coverage also brought to you by 1800PR.com. Get your media exposure there today. And I will tell you this, Bernard, as a guy that, of course, just switched from sports to this with you, the dream job of a lifetime. I've covered 17 Super Bowls. 17 I've been to now. And you name it, California, from Detroit to Minnesota to New York a couple of years ago when the Seahawks played the Broncos. And we talked for weeks about how this day here in New York would feel like a Super Bowl. I kind of scoffed at the notion, to be honest with you. But again, covering 17 Super Bowls on the road, walking around this campus, seeing MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, our station, TV, famous personalities all over the campus, this does, in fact, feel like a Super Bowl Sunday here in New York City.
It really does. As a matter of fact, less than, 11 hours from now.
Yes.
It begins at 9 o'clock, and the ratings anticipation are that of Super Bowl events. As a matter of fact, they're expected maybe to exceed, and I have a list of the most viewed broadcasts ever in the United States, and they're all Super Bowls. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to go down to number 8.
Was that MASH?
That you very good, Sidney.
I thought that was right. Yes.
So
the last MASH episode. Yeah.
Exactly right. Now you have 115.2 million for Super Bowl. Let's see, 54. And 44,
44, right.
In 2015. And then you go down to MASH, which is 98.7. This is expected to exceed 100 million people tonight, and maybe even 115 million, and break that Super Bowl record.
Not good news for Roger Goodell, because the Saints are playing the Falcons tonight, Monday Night Football, to end Week 3. And I think it's fair to say that nobody cares.
Nobody cares, and any bad news for Roger Goodell is good news for the United States, because he really is a mutt.
We did have a lot of sports bad news this weekend. Before we get to all the serious stuff, I know I spent 11 of the last 16 years in South Florida. The last 11 years before January down in Miami. I had a chance, of course, to go to many a Marlin game. I covered their spring training. I met Jose Fernandez and interviewed Jose Fernandez many, many times. And when the news broke yesterday that he was dead, and he's about to start the game against the Mets tonight, 24 years old. He had just Instagrammed a couple of days ago that his girlfriend was pregnant with their first child. He was excited about this next journey in his life. And I'm telling you, folks, he was 2 years away from a $250 million contract with the Yankees. This kid he was going to be the highest paid pitcher in baseball, gorgeous girlfriend, kid on the way. And to die like that, listen, Arnold Palmer died too. And he's certainly royalty and the king, and we all loved him. Right. But like I said this morning, 87 was a pretty good run for Arnold Palmer. This kid was 24 years old.
Yeah, it's unfathomable, especially for his parents and his relatives, and I guess his fans. I mean, it's sickening.
Horrible.
And the irony is that he came here from Cuba in a boat
and saved his mother's life as she was drowning when they got here back in 2008.
Yep, it sounds trite, but your prayers and heartfelt condolences to the family. Not that they're listening right now, but it's a horrible thing. Needed to be mentioned. I know you're a Florida. You've just been repatriated from the Miami area.
That's right.
So
I was excommunicated for a long time. I had to go down to South Florida.
Oh yeah, but you're back now, and it's all good. But it hit you hard because you covered that.
I knew him. I
interviewed
interviewed him. I met him many times. Right. He was, him and Stanton down there, the two big stars. And even though, again, I'm really pumped up with this show today, and what a great time to come back. I came back in January. Again, the dream job of a lifetime working with you, and to be right in the middle of this race, and now to be at Hofstra University today. I mean. The timing couldn't be better, right?
This is the center of the media universe, maybe the universe today, this particular venue, Hofstra University. My son graduated from here this past May, went here for 5 years. It was a program. It wasn't like he screwed up and it wasn't one of those deals. So, but anyway,
he did great. I know he's got. I just talked about it this morning. He's got a big job in Manhattan, and
he's got a big job coming up.
I went to Ireland with him a couple of weeks ago. He's a great kid.
Yes, I have an affinity for this campus, and to be here covering this with my affinity for Mr. Trump and your antipathy for him.
Right.
I mean, it's a fantastic situation.
Yeah, I haven't developed an affinity for Hillary Clinton, even though I'm voting for her and endorsing her. So I can't talk about my affinity for Hillary, but I can't talk about my distaste.
Of course. Absolutely
for
right.
Donald.
Now, listen, we're going to speak to a lot of people strutting around here. I spoke to Juan Williams, my friend Basil Smikle from CNN.
I like him.
And Congressman Peter King's going to stop by a little bit later.
We snatched him. He was actually he was on TV on the set with Steve Ducey and Brian Kilmeade and the blonde chick on Fox News. And there's Jill and I, like, behind them, like two college kids, actually, trying to get in the TV shot and, like, grabbing at Peter King. They're like, he's on TV right now. Wait 1 second. But we got him.
We got him coming around. And we saw Steve Ducey strutting around. Look, but
did I mispronounce his name?
I think you mispronounced his name.
What did I say?
But when you met him, though, you were like giving him the ghetto hug. Let's take a selfie. But now it's Steve Ducey.
You know what's funny about that? I did not walk over and say hello. I did walk over to Allison Camerata from CNN.
You did to Allison Camerata. You know who I noticed walking around here trying to get noticed, embarrassingly, I would say, is this CNN guy, Brian Stelter. He's wearing these aviator glasses. He's strutting around here. I've seen him. I've been sitting here since 6 o'clock. We're right at the entrance to the Student Center. And this guy's walking back and forth with his sunglasses on.
I wouldn't even know
and by
who
the
he
way,
is.
he's got a gut hanging over him. He looks like Michael Moore's offspring.
Is that right?
He's gross. But anyway, it's kind of funny. It's a spectacle. But to the race itself.
Wait, but you guys are stars around here. Let me just tell the audience that people were having you guys sign their hats, and we posted it on the Bernie and Sid Facebook page.
That is funny. That is
true.
True story.
Sure.
That is Flirty Flipper, our esteemed producer here, who grabbed all these guests, literally grabbed them, and then booked them for the show.
Yeah, everyone.
But, so you have these guys walking around here. And Scott Brown was on. He was walking by.
Yep.
Mr. Imons had him on this morning. He couldn't make it. It's past 10 o'clock. But to the race, what we expected and what we were hoping for, maybe, at least a lot of us were hoping for these type of theatrics. Hillary Clinton starts out with inviting Mark Cuban on.
Yeah.
To come and sit in the front row. And then he tweets out the other day it's going to be the humbling at Hofstra. He's trolling Trump, essentially. And Trump tweets back, well, how about I invite Jennifer Flowers?
Which he did.
And
she is coming.
He didn't invite her, and she's not coming.
But she's not coming.
He just tweeted that out to get into her head. Sort of like a... in my estimation, and again, we know where I stand, that essentially I'm swallowing... He's
not essential.
He was that
Literally.
was a brilliant comeback. I think you had people like your friend Schmuck Todd saying, "Well, why didn't he just invite one of the Benghazi parents?" Well, then she would have invited the Khan parents. This was perfect.
Yeah.
And by the way, you could fill half the auditorium with women like Jennifer Flowers if he wanted to, but they're not going to.
No,
at least not on the Trump campaign ticket.
You mentioned the Khan parents. You know, they had the Muslim Day Parade in New York City yesterday, and in fact, Daddy Khan was the Grand Marshal, and no one came.
Nobody came to the parade?
They were shocked and humiliated, is what I heard this morning, by the low turnout.
Is that right?
That is exactly right.
There's not a huge Muslim population. I
New
don't
York?
think. Yeah, but you would imagine some people would.
You would think so. Isn't that the cause?
All right. Well, there you go. Another one for my guy.
Another one for Donald Trump.
Another win.
So, hey, by the way, I'm looking around here. I do see WCBS Radio, 2 stations away from us. My old employer, 1010 Wins, at the very end of the this little radio row they set up inside the Student Center. I'm looking for Mark Simone. I'm looking for WOR, our competition.
They were bragging. They were going to be here, and
what happened?
I don't know. We were talking about it on Friday. How we're going to look him up
and threaten him with physical violence.
And say hello, so to speak.
Right, with a punch in the mouth.
Because he's been bad-mouthing us to several of our guests who have confided to us that he was doing just that. And lo and behold, they're not here this morning.
Isn't that funny?
Wow.
This is the second time in a couple of months I was supposed to see Mark Simone at Hofstra. He's now 0 for 2.
And we know one thing. He's not getting a haircut.
No.
And you can infer from that what you like. Despite the full head of hair.
Right.
And we know that. He's not getting a haircut. And, I'll leave it there, I think. Right? How about that?
But it does show
stop
you.
Stop bad-mouthing us or else I won't leave it there.
Right. It shows you that WABC is, we're there. We're the pulse in this city. Craig Schwab, great job getting us out here. And from Imus to our show, Curtis and Kubi here live next. Right through Rita Cosby for the post-game show later on tonight. So you can talk about ratings and all that nonsense all you want. The pulse of the city is right here with us, 77 WABC.
That's for sure. And I will say this about Rita Cosby. I saw her here Saturday night, and she made news. She made international news. She somehow or other got into the debate hall and got a picture of the podiums.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, I know.
And it's all over the place. Hillary's podium is actually smaller than Trump's, so the proportionately she doesn't look small compared to were you signaling for me to do something?
We're going to break after this.
Okay, yes. So anyway, Rita Cosby, props to her. Once again, another WABC scoop as that photo makes its way worldwide. And also, it's going to be 90 minutes, no bathroom breaks, no coughing breaks.
Is that for us too or just them?
It's an advantage for Trump because he could just pee in the water bottle.
Right. No, she's definitely wearing Depends or something tonight.
He could do that, right?
She's definitely wearing diapers or something just
you
to
think
make sure.
So?
I would think so.
Well, let's hope it doesn't leak. That would be...
that would be hilarious.
Especially when you cough and stuff just comes out involuntarily.
I do know. I'm at that age now. I walk down the street and I go, whoa, what was that? Is there a duck behind me? What's going on?
So we're going to continue this. I have some sound clips from reaction yesterday to the Mark Cuban, Jennifer Flowers stuff, which are pretty entertaining.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of that. And plus, as I said, a bunch of guests stopping by.
Great guests. And hopefully we'll get some of these Hofstra kids on, too, because believe it or not, they are very opinionated about tonight's debate. And we are, in fact, in their house.
Yeah, and they're very, very happy. And one reason is they have the day off from class.
And they're drunk.
Bernie and Sid on 77 WABC.
Election Central. Live coverage of the first presidential debate at Hofstra continues. Bernie and Sid.
Bernie and Sid, good morning.
77 WABC.
Back live here at Hofstra University, the site of Trump-Clinton 1. The great debate coming your way later on tonight. It is, in fact, Bernie and Sid. By the way, folks, debate coverage brought to you by 1-800-PR.com. Get your media exposure there today. We got a bunch of really good guests stopping by before Curtis and Kubi come your way at noon. And, I guess, a lot of the talk this weekend was about the debate tonight and some of the tactics that both of these candidates are using in order to get in each other's heads before kickoff, right?
Yeah, and I would say that it was the Clinton camp. Of course, now, a qualifier here. Yes, I am prejudiced. I am for Trump.
Right.
But I would say that Hillary Clinton pulled the first dirty trick.
That's fair.
I think that was a dirty trick that she pulled. So, listen, they were they're talking about it all over the Sunday shows, and then last night on Fox News, Reince Priebus sat down, and he gave the best description of the whole thing. Take a listen to Reince Priebus crash, please.
They got cute, and then, of course, Mark Cuban got pretty smart on Twitter and started needling the campaign, and so this is a brushback. Mm-hmm. And, it wasn't just like, we'll invite Mark Cuban. It was, we're going to invite Mark Cuban, he's going to play games, and so the campaign brushed him back.
Priebus, of course, the head of the RNC, and he is, for a guy that, even you'd admit for a while there was kind of floundering when it came to Trump. I guess everybody's come around. Heck, even Ted Cruz this weekend said he'll be voting for Donald Trump.
He did, but how about what Reince Priebus said? A great sports analogy. Trump brushed him back.
Yeah.
It was instead of responding in kind by donating by inviting somebody that Hillary doesn't like, he went for the jugular. In other words, you slap Trump and he'll tear your throat out. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
you like that about him?
I thought it was brilliant. Do you not agree with that?
I think she threw the first shot. I think he responded in kind. I don't think it works every single time. I think throughout the campaign, in fact, him doing that hasn't helped despite his numbers right there with Hillary. I think in this instance, I think he got the better of her, yes.
And this is what I think we can look forward to tonight. In other words, he's going to go in there listening to Kellyanne Conway and Bannon and all those guys and be the sober statesman and be a gentleman, polite, all that stuff. But she's going to attack him.
So you think she'll throw the first silo?
Absolutely.
He won't refer to her as crooked Hillary or any of that
in
before.
My opinion, and we'll discuss this further with our guest, I don't think she has nothing to stand on. She stands for nothing. She accomplished nothing. And she has nothing to say positive about herself. So her only fallback position is to attack him because it's vote for me because I'm not Trump. That's her whole campaign.
Well, no,
in a nutshell.
No,
so she's going.
That's not true.
Bottom line is she's going to attack him, and
it's the case. She's going to go on and on about how when they took over there was a recession, and even though the economy has only improved in sluggish fashion, it has improved. She's going to go on and on about how we've won a lot of our kids have come home. I mean, she's going to try to stand on stuff that maybe doesn't exist, and in fact lie. But she is going to go out there and tell you she's done this, she's done that with Obama's help, and it's up to you, of course, to say, not really.
If you're invested in the stock market, you have a portfolio, you're doing great.
You're doing great.
But if you live on Main Street, Wall Street's doing great. Main Street sucks. The country's in chaos. It's divisive.
That's been the way
Foreign
forever.
policy is, the Middle East is blown up. They have really nothing positive to say, so that's why I think she will attack him, and then he will respond in kind and lose forget about the instructions that he was given by his people.
What will she attack him for? What will be not releasing his taxes? Will it be for his bigotry?
And all those things, yes, of course.
Okay.
The bigotry, the taxes, and, and dare she bring up sexism? Let's wait and see.
That won't happen tonight.
And because...
What do you mean? Because why?
That's what I'm asking you. You want to finish the reason why?
No, you tell me why.
Because you know where he's going to go right afterwards.
Of course.
Hey, listen, we're sitting here with a young student from Hofstra right here. And, of course, you would be young, right?
Well, what is your name, by the way?
My name is Victoria.
Victoria, how old are you?
I'm 19.
And where are you from? You're from here in New York area?
Yeah, I'm from Long Island.
From Long Island.
You're a freshman or sophomore?
Sophomore.
Okay, cool. So you're from Long Island, you're here at Hofstra, and you're just jacked and you're psyched because not only is the debate here today, but you have the day off from class, right?
I know. I mean, we don't have off tomorrow, which is kind of bad because we're going to be up to like 3 a.m.
You want to have a party tonight.
Oh, yeah.
You want to have a drinking party. Every time Hillary lies, you do a shot.
See what he did there?
And then nobody wakes up.
I wouldn't say that to her, considering that she's pro-Hillary like I am.
I know,
in fact, she's holding up a sign that says, a woman's place in the House, a woman's place is in the House, the Senate, and the Oval Office.
Nice.
Let's go, Hillary.
So it's all about her gender as far as you're concerned?
No, I'm a political science major, so, I value a lot in politics, and it's not just because she's a woman, but I have to acknowledge as a woman that that's very significant. And
right. It's a big deal. It would be a glass ceiling experience, of course.
It makes a difference for people like me who want to go into politics one day because she could potentially become the most powerful person in the world, and that gives me the idea that maybe I can.
And I think that has been underplayed. I think the Trump supporters want to act like that doesn't exist. But the more young ladies I speak to, and the more ladies I speak to, that seems to be a driving force. It's not really about the economy or foreign policy. It's, hey, listen, I don't really love her. I don't like him at all. But at least as a female, she's given me reason to believe we can do this. And I think that's a much bigger deal than people are talking about during this election for the vote.
And also, the thing about Hillary Clinton that really makes me want to vote for her is the Supreme Court justice pick because, my moral views kind of are more Democratic than conservative. So, it's really important to have someone pick a Supreme Court justice.
Kudos to you for articulating this. It's not just an emotional base of support you have for her based on her gender. There are some concrete things. See, a lot of Hillary supporters, they don't even know. You ask them, what does she stand for? What will she do that you like? And they can't articulate it. Besides the Supreme Court, can you articulate one other thing that she'll do or that she has done in the past?
I think she just has a really long record of fighting for the people, when she was First Lady, and then she was a senator for New York, and then she was Secretary of State.
Like, let's go with the senator and the Secretary of State. What did she do or accomplish?
I just think, there's a lot you could go into because,
just one would be sufficient right now. But
you want to give him one? Listen, she got tons. He'll say anybody could have done it after 9/11. She
No,
got New York State
no.
tons of money.
Peter King did that.
As a New Yorker, I would have to say, I just think that she cares for the people. She does. She's tried to push through healthcare when she was First Lady, and I know like people like to.
It was a disaster.
Well, a lot of things end up being a disaster.
Anybody who sits down and is pro-Hillary, you're going to spend time trying to talk him out of it.
And I hope you do the same for pro-Trump people.
If she sat and said, I wanted Donald Trump, I'm not going to say, why would you vote for that asshole? If she wants to vote for the guy, that's up to her.
I could always just sit back and watch the show and have you interview her, and the two of you can sing Kumbaya.
No, that's fine.
But hey, what's your name again?
Victoria.
Victoria, listen, God bless you, and you're
making the right choice.
She's probably an atheist.
You're making the right choice.
You're
making the right choice.
Listen, it's a free country. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the debate, and
thank you.
Make sure you set the clock on time tomorrow and get up for class, because being a poli-sci major ain't no day at the beach getting a job when you get out.
Yeah.
You know what time it is. So anyway, what's your first name again?
Victoria.
Victoria, thank you. Back on Bernie and Sid on WABC from Hofstra University. We have a big CNN contributor coming up next, a pro-Hillary guy, and I'll go at it with him, Sid, if that's okay with you.
Election Central, Trump.
She lied to the country.
Versus Hillary.
He doesn't make a thing in America.
The first debate, live from Hofstra and Hempstead. Bernie and Sid, 77 WABC, and the WABC radio app.
Back live here at Hofstra University, the site of Trump-Clinton 1. The big debate coming your way tonight. It is, in fact, the Bernie and Sid show. And I guess for the next 75 minutes until Curtis and Kubi come your way at noon, we'll be joined by a multitude of big-name guests. And we start off in terrific fashion, Bernard. He is, in fact, the executive director of the New York State Democratic Party. It's our good friend Basil Smikle stopping by. Basil, good morning, pal.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning.
How are you? Listen, Basil Smikle's making a name for himself on CNN, advocating. Are you officially a Hillary Clinton surrogate?
Absolutely.
You are officially? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Does that mean, and forgive me for this question, does that mean you get paid?
No, I don't get paid.
Okay,
actually, the party pays me. That's my 9 to 5. But,
understood. Okay, great. And you're doing a fantastic job for her, as misguided as you are. But I will say that Basil Smikle, I met him once on a Fox News set, and he's a fellow Bronx guy who went to a Catholic school in the Bronx. He went to college. Mount St. Vincent.
Mount St. Michael.
Yeah. I went to the College of Mount St. Vincent.
There you go.
You went to Mount St. Michael High School. I went to Cardinal Hayes High School.
Oh, big-time rivals.
And you say that you went to Catholic school from 1 to 12, and it made a difference in your life.
Sure did.
Had you gone to public school, your life might not have turned out as well as it has now.
It might not. And, my mother's a school teacher. She was for 30 years teaching special ed. So she made a sacrifice, financial and otherwise, to send me to Catholic school, but it paid off.
See, if you ever want to really convince people that Catholic school is the way to go, I'm Jewish. I went to yeshiva, and I went downhill.
Yeah, that's funny.
So we're trying to convert people. See, I went to school, I love Jesus, it went well. I went to yeshiva, smashed.
But I got to say, I've been to tons of public schools, and my mother was a public school teacher, and I still support free public schools. Absolutely.
You do, but
100%.
To that point, and we can now take it into political realm.
Yeah.
Which is that it was Sonia Sotomayor, for example, was my neighbor in the Bronxdale projects. I was in the James Monroe houses right across the street, and she went to Catholic. She went to Cardinal Spellman High School,
right.
and that made the difference in her life.
It did.
Which is why she's on the Supreme Court. And therefore, Donald Trump now, he supports charter schools and vouchers and things like that. And your candidate, Hillary Clinton, does not. And it seems like almost like a contradiction in what you're saying and advocating between that and the candidate you support.
No, I would say this, because I actually support charter schools. I'm actually on the board of one, and I do fully support them. And I think there is often this dichotomy, you either for or against, and I don't really think that's where most people are. Where most people are is, you want to give parents a choice, because my mother made a choice and other mothers want to have the ability to make that choice. But by and large, most kids are going to go to traditional public schools, and we should also focus our attention on those. And I think that's what Hillary Clinton's saying. It's not that she is against charter. She's just saying, let's not make it an either or. Let's focus on the schools that are free, that most parents are going to send their kids to.
I think what's changed here, Basil, and I think Bernard would even agree, is that you can tell me 10 things that Donald Trump is for that I'm for. But I still wouldn't vote for the guy, and the vice versa. You can tell somebody 10 things that Hillary Clinton is for, that they're for, and they still wouldn't vote for her. And I think what's happened here more than any other time is that the personality of these candidates has either appealed to some people or, for the most part, turned so many people off that most people have turned a blind eye to what these two actually believe in. And tonight they'll be yelling and screaming at each other, calling each other basically liars.
I hope not.
Well, they'll be painting each other as basically liars. And I think people have gone with the personality over the actual meat of this election.
Well, no, I think that's important to note because we haven't spent a lot of time talking about real policy in this election, and that's unfortunate because there's real policy.
40 days away.
I know that's real unfortunate. Look, there was an article today that talked about how Americans who are in poverty are actually moving out of poverty at a much higher rate than folks thought, particularly African American and Latino, and that's real news. But we haven't spent a lot of time talking about how that happened and how we can keep it going because we focused a lot on personality and sound bites, and that's sad.
And you have to say, though, in this case, in the debate, you would hope for a substantive debate, but she started with the dirty trick of inviting Mark Cuban and then opening the door to Donald Trump to do the Jennifer Flowers thing. So, I mean, maybe she's afraid to discuss substance because she really doesn't have a good track record. And the country is chaotic. You have race riots, terror attacks, and the Wall Street's doing well, but Main Street's not doing so well.
Well, then, first of all, there are no race riots. That's what we're talking about. Those
riots. Excuse me.
That unrest existed because of some police brutality. But that said, the country actually is in better economic shape than we were when President Obama took office. So there has been an improvement. And she's probably the most conversant in public policy that you'll find on a national stage, certainly compared to her Republican opponent. That said, tonight, I actually do think we're going to have to talk about issues because Donald Trump can't speak in the same way that he has been in the Republican debates. He can't sort of pick and choose his moments and then attack one of his opponents. He's got to actually answer questions and with real policy.
Well, we'll see if she doesn't attack him personally, and he spends his time just going back after her in some sort of negative fashion.
But it's allowable for her to talk about things that he said. That's okay, right?
Well, I mean, obviously, he doesn't have a... we often hear him attacking Hillary's record, which is easy to do because he doesn't have one.
But it's okay for her to say, if he made comments about women, that's okay, right? That's
but then it's up to you to decide whether or not they were actually based on misogyny or if, in fact, the media...
And then he can talk about what she did to Bill's sexual assault victims, and she opens the door to that. So, yes, I
haven't heard anything about that. What is that about?
Well, then I'll talk to you about it. Listen, Basil Smikle, you're a great guy, CNN. He's a school teacher here in Manhattan, Columbia.
Columbia and CUNY. Yes,
CUNY, and he's a great guy. Basil, listen, thank you for doing this.
I'm glad to be here.
We're gonna have your colleague in spirit anyway, Juan Williams. He's going to sit down with right for a few minutes if you don't mind.
Not at all.
Listen, Basil Smikle, thanks very much.
Good to see you guys.
Good to see you. Nice to see you. All right. We're going to hand it right over to Juan. Stay with us here, Crash. We're not going to break just yet. We're going to go right to
Juan Williams.
Juan Williams of Fox, who looks like $1 million in his blue suit and his red tie. Looks like a candidate himself.
Hey, Juan Williams, good morning to you. Thanks for appearing on the Bernie and Sid show.
Man, I've never done it, and I'm so pleased to be here.
You got to put his mic
is not on right now. Let's try that again.
All right, I said,
there we go.
I'm so pleased to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
It's a pleasure and an honor.
That's it.
Well, let's start with this right away. The debate tonight. We know that there's going to be some mudslinging. How much we have to wait and see. And we know both are going to try to paint the other one as a liar and all that nonsense. So with that said, fact-checking. How important is that tonight? And do you think it's on the moderators to make sure that the stuff that comes out is in fact, or is it up to the candidates?
You're going to be disappointed. I don't think there's going to be as much mudslinging as you anticipate. Now, there's going to be some needling, and there's going to be some of Clinton trying to remind people that, hey, no shape-shifting allowed. Here's a guy who said X, Y, Z about so many people and all the rest. But I don't think it's going to be a bunch of, crooked Hillary or slimy Trump, none of that.
In fact, she brings up some of the things that he said, and she tries to describe him as a racist or a bigot or misogynist. That is mudslinging.
If she said that kind of language, but if she says, on the other hand, you're describing Mexicans as rapists, is not in keeping with the American ethic. That's a different way to approach it. I see what you're saying, but it's not, the mudslinging, a lot of which we saw at the GOP primary debates, I don't think you're going to see it here because I don't think it's to Trump's advantage. And remember, he's one-on-one with a woman.
Yeah, but if he's as I've said before on this show and other places, he's the ultimate feminist. She's a woman, but he's not going to treat her. This is a new deal, a new era of gender equality. You don't treat women differently. She's not a delicate little flower. She's a candidate running for the highest, the strongest, the biggest office in the world, perhaps. And so he's going to treat her as such. So if she starts, and you don't consider it mudslinging, but if she starts calling him racist and sexist, yeah, he's going to start going after her in an underhanded way. He'll bring up the Bill Clinton infidelities and the fact that she attacked his victims. He will bring that stuff up, and it will be a mud fest.
Well, remember, it's not really about the two of them. It's about people who are undecided. And a lot of those people are women. A lot of those people are suburban, Republican, white women. And if they feel that, like Rick Lazio, that he's just crossing the line, Bernie, it's not going to help Donald Trump.
No, he won't initiate it. Rick Lazio walked over there uninitiated, but if she starts it and he finishes it, like with the Mark Cuban thing and the Jennifer Flowers thing, she started it, he finished it. I mean, it's going to be a different story.
And you think that helped him?
I think it did help him, yeah.
No, Bernie.
Well, talking about helping him, let's do this.
I think it was brilliant.
You think it was brilliant because you do talk radio, but I'm going to tell you something.
You slap me, I rip your throat out.
Yeah, but I'm going to tell you something. Most people thought that was way over the line. There's a big difference between Mark Cuban and Jennifer Flowers.
Maybe in your world they did, Juan, but in the world out here, people see that it was a cheap shot on her part.
How's that a cheap shot? Oh, Mark Cuban is a cheap shot?
Who shot his big mouth off on Twitter about how it's going to be the humbling at Hofstra, and he was going to be sitting there intimidating Trump by staring at him. Yeah, it was a cheap shot.
Oh boy, I see that so differently because I think Mark Cuban is legitimately a man of great achievement in terms of the business world, in terms of the sports world. I do not see that in terms of
He's been trolling Trump online.
There's also no personal relationship between Cuban and Clinton, so what Trump did was much dirtier, bringing up somebody who had an affair with the husband.
And especially for a female audience.
Right. But I'd ask you this. Oftentimes, if somebody comes on this show and is pro-Hillary, Bernard asks the question, I think it's fair.
Right.
What has she done? In other words, when she goes out there tonight, if she doesn't attack Donald Trump and she tries to win this debate based upon what she has accomplished, whether a senator or when she was Secretary of State, he can't find an awful lot that she's actually done. What has she done?
This is so interesting to me because I think one of the arguments against Hillary could be that she failed, but it's not that she didn't try. And remember, she was everything on the Watergate committee going after those bad guys, Nixon and those guys way back, as first lady of the country, going after
Ironically,
the problem.
She went after Nixon, ironically.
Well, there you go. Okay, but you asked me for accomplishments, right? And then secondly, going after health care in this country and failing because people said she went too far. But that was when she was first lady. And then as Secretary of State, we talk about the Iran deal, which you probably loathe, but remember, it was Hillary Clinton who put in place a lot of the sanctions that forced Iran to come to the table. I could go on, but...
So wait, it's a selling point. So what I got from you is the Iran deal. I mean, you want to go back to when she was First Lady, you have Travelgate, you have the right-wing conspiracy, you have Monica Lewinsky.
I think I see why Bernie likes mudslinging.
But you have Iran that's her signature accomplishment is Iran?
No, I said that she forced them to the... Remember, I don't care who you are. The idea that Iran is no longer engaged in acquiring nuclear weaponry, developing that's a good thing.
That's going to be a tough sell to the American people.
Well, I don't think so. I think what you have to deal with is that Donald Trump has no experience of this kind.
She's angry, she's scripted, and she's humorless. He's cool, he's charismatic, he's spontaneous. He's going to slay her tonight.
I see. You don't like women, huh?
I love women. Listen,
I think you don't like women.
I have a wife,
but it's okay.
I have sisters, I have a daughter.
Yeah, I don't think you like a woman as a leader.
I was loving Sarah Palin like you can't believe.
Yeah, right,
I don't like this woman. See, that's a cheap shot on your part.
A cheap shot.
A cheap shot.
Oh, yeah. And when you talk about her voice and you talk about the way
I didn't talk about her voice.
Oh, no.
You didn't hear me talk about her voice.
Yes. Okay, go right ahead. But I'm just telling you.
That was a cheap shot,
It's not a cheap shot.
Yes, it is.
It's coming to
who
you are,
That's it.
Bernie.
Sexist. That's it. When you have nothing left, the last refuge of somebody with no argument is sexism, racism, et cetera, et cetera.
I see. Well, that's why I came to this show, because I wanted to have the experience of somebody who was not sexist, not racist. I came to be with McGirt.
I love Juan Williams. The sarcasm dripping to the floor. We don't have any time left. Hey, Juan, thanks, man.
Nice job,
it was a pleasure. And by the way, the book is We the People, the modern-day figures who have reshaped and affirmed the Founding Fathers. Juan Williams, We the People. Thanks, Juan.
Excellent job. Don't forget,
Bernie
coming up on the other side, Peter King starts off hour number 2 here, live from Hofstra, Bernie and Sid, live from the site of tonight's debate.
The Bernie Bernie and Sid Show.
Guaranteed to be enormously successful.
It's about truth, the damn truth, New York's truth, the truth behind the BS. For New York, nothing at all in between. This is Bernard McGurk.
So Bernie.
This is Sid Rosenberg.
The one and only Sid.
Live, local, on it.
You never know what's going to happen.
Exclusively.
Bernie and Sid.
77 WABC.
Kind of the anthem, if you will, for New York, Billy Joel, New York State of Mind. It all works for Peter King, Billy Joel, New York. We are live here at Hofstra University, the site of Trump-Clinton 1, coming your way later on tonight. The great debate, the Bernie and Sid Show, hour number 2, a great first hour. A couple of great guests, a couple of Hofstra students along the way. And we start off hour number 2, which, by the way, is brought to you by BMW of Freehold. Start off hour number 2, can't get better. Our favorite congressman, the host from Long Island himself of tonight's event, the great Peter King. Good morning, Peter.
Great to be here. Good to be with you guys.
On his home turf. Well,
yes.
We've come to you for a change.
See that? And by the way, with Sid, his visa expires in about 10 minutes, so you're on your way out.
Get him out.
You know, when I first walked over this morning, he was doing a live shot with the Fox and Friends.
Oh,
Kilmeade and
Mr.
Douchey.
Big Shot. Now,
right.
This is like, he's like, I got to hang around for these two idiots?
Right, so I'm like 10 feet away with Flipper, and he's used to seeing me in my, Sid Rosenberg show T-shirts and shorts at our studios at ABC, not dressed like this. He had no idea who I was, but I walked right in front of his face. And he's like, oh, Sid.
Sid. Hey, do you need a right to court, Sid? That could have been the first words out of his mouth. But of course, Sid looks very, very dapper this morning. And
yes.
I tell you, he really does. Like bar mitzvah or something.
Yeah, one of those deals. So the big debate tonight, you are going to be in the debate hall, and you're going to be, you were telling us you're going to be next door to spin afterwards immediately. What do you expect tonight? Do you expect, some people are saying, well, first of all, I think a precursor to what's going to happen tonight were those, the Mark Cuban, Jennifer Flowers exchanges in which she started with the dirty tricks. He sort of finished it, in my estimation. What do you expect tonight?
I think, first of all, this is Donald Trump's opportunity. The polls are all going his way. Right now, if he does well in the debate tonight, if he can show judgment, if he can show temperament, if he can show where he wants to take the country, no matter what Hillary Clinton does, he wins the debate because the country wants change. And they have questions about Donald Trump's judgment and temperament. If he can satisfy that in 90 minutes, he's going to win. No matter what she does, after 25 years, people don't trust Hillary Clinton. You cannot turn that around in 90 minutes. So it's really up to Trump. What he has to do is he has to stay on message, but still be Donald Trump. And that can be tricky at times.
But when you say stay on message, let's get specifics here. What do you think Donald Trump needs to say that A, will highlight what he can do for this country, or B, attack Hillary without being that over-the-top guy that we saw during the GOP race?
Yeah, well, first of all, I think he has to show that he has leadership ability, which I think he can do, like dominate the stage, be strong without putting her down, be strong. Also show a fairly good knowledge of the facts. He doesn't have to have all the facts. Show where he wants to take the country. And able to talk about specific issues like defending the police, being strong on immigration, and doing it in a way that shows that he's thought it through.
Well, when he says that he's going to, for example, annihilate ISIS, they'll talk about foreign policy tonight. Are we finally at the point, because he's always said, I've got a plan, I don't want to unveil it. Is tonight the time when he unveils stuff like that, like my plan to destroy ISIS?
I think he will have to show more specifics, but not give them all. I mean, President Obama, whenever he says he's doing something, he tells the enemy exactly what he's going to do and what he's not going to do. I think Donald Trump should show some more specifics, but not go into great detail. And also, as far as the personal attacks, Hillary Clinton's campaign against Trump, I mean, she realizes for her to win, she has to cause people not to trust Trump, to lose faith in Trump, to be scared of him, his finger on the nuclear button. So she's going to take the first shot, I think, which gives him the opening. I don't think he has to take a shot at her. Once she takes the first one, as you saw, she opened with Mark Cuban, he closed with Jennifer Flowers.
Right. Just before we move on, what do you think of that? I mean, did you think he made the right call? I think it was brilliant.
I think it was because he did it in response to what she had said.
Right.
And, though, it brought back memories of 20 years ago without him having to bring them back. They came back.
Thank you. I've had 3 Hillary supporters on this last hour, and I'm starting to question my own judgment. Thank you for validating
that is ridiculous.
My thinking.
Of course you're not.
But to move on to the fact that we have riots. We've had like a trilogy of terror attacks, maybe even 4 if you count the one in Washington. We don't know yet, Washington State. I mean, these types of events actually, the conventional wisdom is they help help a candidate like Donald Trump? Does he emphasize those things tonight, his immigration policy and also the fact that she demonizes cops? Does he emphasize all that?
He has to find a way to emphasize his support for cops and that she has turned her back on cops and that she's suggesting an equivalency between bad guys, criminals like Michael Brown, and cops who are doing their job. This is a disgrace. We have cops who have done more to save black lives than anybody else in America. Every day they're out there, and 99% of the time they do the right thing. They have a higher success rate than lawyers, doctors, politicians. You go down the line. And for her to demonize them the way she does, she is furthering the big lie of Black Lives Matter that white cops are trying to kill innocent black civilians. Right. That's a total lie. She knows it.
She's perpetuating ignorance is what she's doing.
And when you do that, that encourages more riots, more killings, more shootings.
And it hurts the people in the inner city because it has the Ferguson effect. The cops are afraid to be proactive, and more people die or get hurt in the inner city. So it actually has consequences.
It has real consequences, and it encourages people. Listen, they were living in the city, they're under bad conditions, and now they see their nation's leaders saying, hey, these cops are trying to kill us.
Right.
So you can understand why not understand, but I can see why some people get carried away. It's wrong. What they do is wrong, but they're encouraged by people at the top, and that is the real evil.
Congressman Peter King sitting down with Bernie and Sid here live from Hofstra, the big debate later on tonight. I think she'll come out there and try to talk about the fact that he's kind of flip-flopped on everything. He talks about her voting for the Iraq War when, in fact, he's on record, the Howard Stern show, saying, yeah, I guess I would, too. Not exactly a big deal, but he did say, yeah, I guess I would, too. And a variety of other issues, from immigration to wall building, all that stuff. He seems to go back and forth with, yes, maybe, I'm not sure. So if she does that, what's his response?
I think, first of all, as far as inconsistency, nobody's more inconsistent than her. I think what he should do...
But stop for a second, because if he does that and says, oh, Hillary coming from you, that's a joke. If she calls him inconsistent and says, listen, Donald, I know for a fact you were for the Iraq War, then you were against it. I know for a fact you wanted to ban all these people, now you're not so sure. He has to answer that without using her in the answer.
Okay, I would say, again, myself, I did support the Iraq War. But if I were Donald Trump, I'd say, listen, the troops are out there. It was the first few weeks of the war, and I was going to stand with the president. But I was never strongly for it, and I've been consistently opposed to it since then. But the real issue is now, what do we do going toward the future? I think it's the best way to do it.
Good answer.
That's good answer. Good advice.
Maybe you should just stay up on stage.
I hope you. I'm sure you had some consultations with Mr. Trump and give him some way to articulate that sort of questionable time. It's not documented clearly, as Sid said, whether or not he was for or against it. Now, listen, also, I would say that one of your good friends, Ted Cruz, has come out over the weekend, and he's endorsed Donald Trump. I mean, a guy who Trump eviscerated. And, and now, of course, he put out the Instagram photo of his wife, et cetera, infamously. And now Ted has come around and endorsed. Why do you think he's done that over the weekend?
Well, to show you how I've matured, I'm not going to say anything bad about Ted Cruz.
We don't want you to mature. We don't want you to mature.
Kill him.
I mean, I didn't like the guy to begin with, but now I'll put that on hold. No, actually, all kidding aside, this does show the Republican Party is coming together. Ted Cruz, for whatever reason, felt it was in his interest to support Donald Trump.
His interest, because he smells victory, perhaps, for Trump, right?
Yeah, on the night of the convention, he thought Donald Trump was going to lose in a landslide, and he wanted to say, I was the one who warned you, I'm the only man standing. Now he realizes where this is going. He knows that Donald Trump is either going to win or it's going to be a close election. Here's one people pointing to him as being the reason why Donald Trump didn't win. Donald Trump is going to win. Ted Cruz wants to get on board. And again, whatever personal feelings we have toward each other in the party, right now, the party is as united, far more united than any of us thought it was going to be leaving the convention.
Well, I think Bernard nailed it, though. I think it's because he actually has a chance to win. I think it was easy to kill him, whether you were Ryan or Cruz, when it looked like he was going to lose by double digits. He's got a chance to win. I read something this morning, Peter, that says that there's about 1/3 of the undecideds, which is a lot of people, may in fact make up their mind tonight. You want to talk about the importance of this debate, whether we're being over-dramatic here. 1/3 of the undecideds may make up their mind tonight. Who's the pressure on, Hillary or Donald?
It's on. Actually, I think Hillary is almost out of it because it's up to Trump. If Donald Trump does well, it's over.
So you're saying it's his to win or to lose?
Absolutely. It's up to him, yeah. I would say the closest analogy is 1980 with Reagan and Carter. They were dead even going into the last 10 days of the campaign. People wanted change, but they didn't know if they could trust Reagan to be responsible with nuclear weapons. They saw Ronald Reagan. He swept the... I think he only did about maybe slightly won the debate, but he won the election by 10 points because people now realize they could trust him. And I think if Donald Trump can show that tonight, he's going to sweep this.
I would posit that he's already winning for two reasons. One, on the tweet battle with we already talked about, Mark Cuban versus Jennifer Flowers, and also the perception that she is freaking out, panicking. She's hiding, she's holed up in Chappaqua with these mock debates. He's out there eating hot dogs and doing rallies, and he's like, oh, I'll give it a couple hours tomorrow, meeting with Bibi Netanyahu. I know she did too. But in other words, he's cool as a cucumber, and she's melting like the Wicked Witch, on the Wizard of Oz, for God's sakes, over the whole thing. She's having a meltdown, it seems. So I would say that he's already won this battle. So as you said, all he has to do is show up and just not be nuts.
Yeah, he has to both stay a message and be himself. And again, he can do it. No, but listen, if anyone can do it, he can. Okay. Listen, he's done everything wrong for the last 16 months under the rules of conventional politics. He's the last man standing. So who the hell are we to be telling what he's doing right and wrong? He's gotten it done. He's done. And remember, each of those debates, that's it. Trump killed himself tonight. He's finished.
Hey, listen, it's a week ago today. They caught the New York City, the bomber, the one who did the bombing in Jersey and down in Chelsea. A week ago today. And you also had the Minnesota thing, You had the meat cleaver guy. He was a Palestinian. The cop tackled him, another hero cop. And now you have this massacre out in Washington State. We don't know what happened. The guy was a Turkish immigrant. Trump's policy now is we have to take a serious look at who we let into this country.
So is hers, by the way. She wants to make vetting very, very stringent.
They have similar immigration policy.
No, she's not going to ban everybody from coming to the country because all those 5 people you mentioned, by the way, were naturalized citizens and Americans, which you always leave out.
I want to ask Congressman King your thoughts regarding all of this, regarding his proposal and what happened in this past week and a half.
Well, first of all, it shows even when there is vetting, there can be real consequences. Having said that, you cannot vet the Syrian refugees. There is no there's no records. There's nothing there to vet them against.
But these were not Syrian refugees.
No, my point is that she is talking about letting in more Syrian refugees. And we focus on that. If refugees that you have vetted create this type of problem, you can imagine those that you can vet what's going on, especially when ISIS has said that they want to put terrorists in with the refugees coming in.
Excellent point.
I would just make the point, if I was her, they were all naturalized citizens, all Americans, none from Syria, none of them. They did go back to their places of choice, Afghanistan, Jordan, Somalia, blah, blah, blah. But these are not people that flew here overnight.
There was one common denominator running through them all. And I think that was their religion. And the same thing with the Boston bombers. And if Trump's proposal, it's maybe not a short-term answer for those types of people who perpetrate those attacks, but it is a long-term answer because these are disaffected young Muslim youth.
Right.
First of all, when did Sid become such a bleeding heart liberal?
That's what I want to know.
He's gone off the deep end.
He moves back up to New York, and next thing you know, he's wearing panties. I don't know what's going on.
It's true. He actually was with me from day one down in Florida, where I was tepid for Trump. He has seen the whole transformation.
It's disturbing.
What happened, Peter? What happened?
No, listen, I was for Bush, I was for Rubio, and so I'm a real kingmaker. Here you go. Both of them went down in flames. But no, on the key issues affecting the country, to me, Donald Trump is far superior to Hillary Clinton, and that's it.
So what do you do after the debate? Where do we go? Where are we having pops? A couple of pops?
Actually, apparently Trump's having a party somewhere, but I'll be working hard. Listen, I'm not like you guys. I am conscientious around the clock. I learned this from Don Imus.
Oh, come on, listen.
That's the guy. It's funny. I'm actually going to go. My wife works at a law firm down the block here in Garden City. Right. Beautiful law firm, great job. We're going to go for lunch. And we were hoping actually that Peter King would pick up the check. This is your town. It's Long Island. It's got to be on you.
I think that would be looked upon as a bribe that I'd be trying to get. Otherwise, I would love to do it. I would I'd buy you a new home if I could, but I don't want to give you the appearance of evil. I really your reputation is bad enough without making it worse.
So Sid's reputation precedes him. Hey, listen, on the Bernie and Sid Show, Congressman Peter King from Hofstra University.
There you go.
Great job. We love you to pieces.
Great.
And good luck tonight in the spin room after the debate. We'll be looking to hear what you say. And go Trump.
Thanks, Bernie. Thanks, Sid. Let's go.
Congressman King, baby. Back on
go.
Bernie and Sid after this. See live from the epicenter of the political and media world at Hofstra University. Yes, sir. Bernie and Sid here. We're surrounded by a group of very studious students here.
Yeah.
You guys look like you're politically active. You look like you just came back from the Charlotte riots, like you were smashing. You guys are like.
Looks can be deceiving. Looks can be deceiving.
Okay.
If I had the ability to be there, I would certainly be standing in solidarity with the protesters in Charlotte. But we're here.
You are political people, right? This group is a political group.
As individuals, you could definitely say that.
Right.
As a mess, we're kind of a mess, and that's politics, baby.
Can I just tell tell you that you look like you're ready to burn this bitch down. Let me just say that.
Oh, yes, we are.
Well, one of them is actually holding a sign.
Can I say bitch on the radio?
Yeah,
That's pretty bitch.
One is actually holding a sign behind me that says, this debate is nonsense.
Say the F word?
So, no, you can't say the F word.
Don't say the F word. But you can say bitch.
Why would that sign say this debate is nonsense?
Well, nonsense. We actually represent Hofstra's humor magazine here, which is called Nonsense Humor Magazine. We're all writers, artists, satirical kind of people out here trying to get some material because this election is pretty funny. I think. Don't you think? Yeah,
it is sort of theatrical. Let's put it that way. And let me just say,
I am a drama major.
Between you and me, I was a Bernie Sanders. I'm supporting Jill Stein right now. I just want you to know that.
She smells really nice.
I met her yesterday.
You met her?
I got to meet Jill Stein. I shook her hand. Yeah,
she's cool. She looks like she used to be a very she's a very smart lady. Let me put it that way. I'm supporting Jill Stein. So
I hope she
listen.
still is.
So you guys you must not be Trump supporters. What are you going to do?
If you look at my sign, it actually reads, Donald Trump makes me extremely upset. I just want to let everyone know that Donald Trump makes me extremely upset.
Why would that
sad?
Be? Why?
He makes me sad. I think that we've just kind of legitimized his whole thing. He doesn't care about the issues. I think I know more about politics than Donald Trump does, and I don't really know anything at all. Yeah. But if I do know one thing, it's that Donald Trump doesn't know anything. And I think that our president should know at least one thing.
Now, the debate going on college campuses is about all these safe spaces and all of that stuff. I know what time. You guys know who Milo Yiannopoulos is?
Yes.
To talk about that terrible man.
But that terrible man.
I believe in the First Amendment. I believe in the right to free speech.
Sid actually had sex with Milo.
That's not true.
Wow.
One time.
Believe it or not.
I heard he didn't, go for white guys. That's sick, man. That's diversity.
He was drunk.
No, but his whole thing is that he's out there and he thinks that if Trump doesn't win, then kids like you, quite frankly, are going to have to shut up. And nothing could be further from the truth, right? No one's stopping you from saying whatever you want on this campus
I don't
today.
think that that's the point of safe spaces or any of this kind of rhetoric that's being thrown around with regard to political correctness. I think it's a matter of basic human decency and respect and not censorship, which is what it's being made out to be. And I don't support censorship at all in any way, shape, or form. I support respect.
Yeah, and if you want to say whatever you want, there's a free speech zone down at Monroe Hall, and you can have all the free speech in the world for 10 minutes. How lucky are we?
So you're not down with this safe space nonsense?
Safe space nonsense.
Safe space, and I'm
down with it.
Hey, listen.
Nonsense is a safe space.
I love having 45-year-old men dictate our culture to us. That's sick, dude.
I think that's a little.
Let me ask you this:
That's being very nice.
Is there going to be a party tonight?
Is there going to be a party tonight? No, not tonight. I'm all worn out from this weekend. I just turned 21, so shouts out to all the Libras out there.
Does drinking by yourself while watching the debate count as a party?
Oh yeah, I'm going to be partying. Yeah, because
you just described my Saturday nights.
Shout out to Miller High Life, making the debate bearable.
The champagne of beers. The champagne of beers.
All right, listen, guys, man, don't be smashing any windows tonight. No,
I'm not about broken windows. No.
Is there anybody in this group, any of you kids, there's about 20 kids that are in and around Bernard Night, any of you guys that are pro-Donald Trump? Anybody?
Anyone like Donald Trump here?
Anybody?
Media.
By the way,
all of the media is pro-Donald Trump.
Let me ask you this. Have you encountered any Trump supporters on campus, period?
Yes. I mean, I hate him slightly less than I hate Hillary. I mean, if that helps.
All right.
You're a supporter.
The discourse.
That's the best I can say for him.
You, me, and Jill Stein, we're on the same page.
Hey, Jill. Yeah. And I mean, side note, don't use any Wi-Fi because you know what Jill says about Wi-Fi. You can't be using Wi-Fi.
I got a rash. It's good because Hofstra has no Wi-Fi anyway.
Yeah. No.
Listen, you don't love your campus, apparently.
We really do like our campus.
Yeah, it's a great place.
Wish there was more Wi-Fi here, but
That's true.
I think they shut it down for Jill Stein.
It's a ripoff.
It is. It's really. They're charging the media out here like $200 to get a Wi-Fi password. I think that's pretty bonkers. I got one for free, except it's not really free. It's like $52,000.
Would you give it to us?
Yeah, you can use my login if you want.
What is
it? H701-533-904 is the username, and I'll write down that's my Hofstra University ID number if you want to wire some money into my meal plan. I don't have one this semester, and I'm out here starving. Wire some money into my meal plan. I can make the Wi-Fi happen for you.
Just do not burn this bitch down tonight, all right?
Absolutely not. I'm not feeling the burn anymore. We gotta face the facts now. We gotta face the facts.
It's a binary choice. Listen, thanks, kid.
I don't believe in binaries either.
She's a funny. You're a witch.
I'm the editor-in-chief of this magazine, which is based around humor, and so is Zach. Where's Zach go?
I'm right here. We're the co-editor-in-chief together. I think our whole thing with this is the election is so absurd that we're trying to counteract the absurdity of that with some of our
If you can't beat him, join him!
I like it. I want to hang out with these kids, man.
I hardly know him.
You wouldn't let me hang out with you, though, would you?
No, you could. I mean, I think it rained yesterday. We might try to have like a little bonfire later.
Chill, bro.
You seem like a chill dude. I mean, you're supporting Jill Stein, so if you want to, the real green party, if you know what I mean, is at our house later tonight.
I'll see you there. Yo.
Green party.
Bernie and Sid with the Hofstra students.
Election Central, Trump.
She lied to the country.
Versus Hillary.
He doesn't make a thing in America.
The first debate, live from Hofstra and Hempstead. Bernie and Sid, 77 WABC and the WABC radio app.
Back here live at Hofstra University, the site of Trump Clinton 1 coming your way later on tonight. I feel like Brent Musburger. You're looking live at a sold-out Giants Stadium where later on tonight the Giants and the Eagles renew the rivalry. We've got a rivalry here with Trump and Clinton. And for a guy that worked in sports my whole life, just here from FAN and covering 16 Super Bowls, as I said earlier, Red Sox and Yankees got pretty nasty. You know, Lakers and Celtics got pretty nasty. Jets and Dolphins got pretty nasty. But I've never seen anything. This is the ultimate blood sport. What's going on right now with Donald and Hillary?
They should have it in an octagon as opposed to this debate hall down the street from us right here. It's going to be it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be it could be anticlimactic.
That's
it
the
could
problem.
Possibly be.
That's the problem.
But I don't think so. A lot of people are saying that you're going to have a sober, serious statesman like Donald Trump. I don't think so. I think she's going to attack him, and then he's going to come back nasty. But in any case, our guest this morning right now is the retiring congressman from the 3rd District on Long Island, Steve Israel. Good morning, Mr. Israel.
It's great to be with you guys. This is more like the Mets-Yankees World Series. 2 New Yorkers.
Yeah, that's right. The Subway
Series. 2 New Yorkers. And
this
one actually goes into extra innings because there are going to be other debates.
You know what's funny about that is I'm endorsing Hillary. Not because I love her, I just really don't like Donald. But for some reason, I know she lives in Chappaqua, but when people say these are 2 New Yorkers, I still think of Hillary Clinton as Arkansas. Why is that?
I don't know. She was a great senator, for
well, let me stop you right there. Because you say she was a great senator,
yeah.
He's going to take offense to that, Bernard. How do you say that?
Well, first of all, let me just answer your first question. Because she's a carpetbagger.
That's fine. That's fine.
She's from Illinois via Arkansas.
Right.
That's why.
That's fair.
So that's fair indeed. And as far as being a senator from New York,
great senator.
I'm sorry you brought that up, Congressman Israel, because she proposed like 360 bills, legislation, and she got 3 passed, and they were to rename highways essentially and parks, the 3 of them. So she really did not do much. She didn't accomplish much as a senator from New York, and upstate New York is still suffering greatly.
You will not be surprised with my disagreement with that. Look, right next to this campus is a Mitchell Field military base. That thing was going to be closed down. Families were going to be abandoned. She's the one who, within a stone's throw of Hofstra University, she saved that base for those families. So I worked with her on any number of issues, on veterans health care, on economic development on Long Island. She did a good job, and she'll do a good job as president.
Well, listen,
I didn't work with Donald Trump on any of those issues.
So tonight later on,
he's an outsider.
He's an outsider, but not anymore. So tonight later on, when something comes up where Donald Trump is going to say, "Well, you didn't do anything," is it important that the fact checkers make sure that what they say tonight is actually the case and not some hyperbole which is being promoted by these candidates?
This is not just going to be the most watched presidential debate in the history of presidential debates. This will be the most fact-checked presidential debate in the history of presidential debates.
It needs to be, right?
Well, it should be. I mean, this is about the truth. And you can't win a debate and run for president by saying that you were against the war in Iraq when you were for the war in Iraq, by making stuff up as you go along. So I think there's going to be a lot of fact-checking, as there should be. Both candidates need to be accountable and transparent, and I think you're going to see a real contrast tonight.
I actually don't think the substance will matter that much tonight. I think it's going to be just as in the past. It's going to be the best one-liners or... God forbid Hillary falls ill during the...
oh, stop.
I'm just saying. I think it's going to hinge on things like that. I don't think it's going to be... We already know the issues. We already know about his tepid support for the Iraq war, and then he turned against it. We know that she voted for the war, and it turned out to be a disaster in Libya, and she got rid of Mubarak in Egypt and ended up with the Muslim Brotherhood, et cetera, et cetera. We know all that stuff. It's going to be theatrics. It's going to be the quick-witted... retort that's going to win or lose the day.
And Donald Trump performs very well on that. If the standard is, who does better on TV, who's a TV performer, Donald Trump made his living doing that. He amassed his riches as a TV performer. But if the standard is, what idea do you have to strengthen paychecks, protect our national defense, protect Social Security and Medicare. People ultimately want ideas. And then the second thing I would say is remember the last presidential debate. President Obama in Denver. He didn't perform well. Stylistically, he lost that debate. He came back to Hofstra University the next debate.
Killed him.
And won it.
Killed him.
And so I don't think we should put all our eggs in one Hofstra basket, as much as I love Hofstra University.
Although I did read today, believe it or not, that about 1/3 of the undecideds, about 1/3, may make up their mind tonight. That's how important this debate is. I know you're right about Romney last time along, but this and Obama. But this one tonight seems to be larger than anything I've seen in the last 3 decades.
No question. Very, very high stakes. But we still have, in politics, I know one thing. A week is an eternity. And we still have several weeks before the election. So it is just unclear. This is the most volatile political environment I've ever seen in my life. I mean, you need a neck brace just to look at the polls.
It's so true.
So who knows what's going to happen?
And it's like a roller coaster. Like you say, so many things happen. I mean, you look at the last week of August. You had the Baton Rouge. You had Trump going to Mexico. And then the turnaround for him, the uptick in the polls. And then this past week, you had a whole bunch of things happen. You had the terror attacks, and then the riots and the police shootings. I mean, events will dictate what happened. It does seem like an eternity. For example, it was a week ago today that they caught the terror attack of the New York terror attack
in New Jersey.
In New Jersey, and it seems like an eternity ago.
That's
so
right.
You're right about that. But still. The issue is tonight, and that's what we're focused on. So do you think that Hillary Clinton, what does she do? She talks about her experience, or she attacks him? She prosecutes Donald Trump. Which course does she take?
She's got to play her own game. She can't worry too much about getting into his head, getting under his skin. She's got to play her own game. And that means talking to the American people and to those 1/3 of voters who are still undecided about what I'm going to do. What are my ideas for you to help you economically? What am I going to do to keep you safe from ISIS and terrorists? What am I going to do to relieve college debt here at a university campus? If she does that and stays within her own game, I think she's going to do fine. If Donald Trump comes off as the P.T. Barnum of television, it will be entertaining, but I'm not sure that that's how people are going to cast their votes based on performance.
Let me play devil's advocate. So I'm endorsing Hillary. I'm with you here. You and I are in step.
He's not? You sure?
He's I
was going to put him down
as one of those undecided congressmen, yeah.
I'm one of the deplorables.
When Donald Trump talks about these attacks, he's going to leave out, of course, the fact that they were naturalized American citizens. They've been here. They became disillusioned for some reason or another. And now, of course, they're terrorists. He's going to leave all that out. He's going to say, listen, we're being attacked in our own country by these people who come here from other countries and are unhappy. When he talks about the police situation, when he says, in fact, that Clinton and Obama demonize police, they hate the cops, therefore the criminals and the thugs, how does she combat that?
With facts and with ideas. I'll give you an example. People understand that we have some problems. We have some real challenges on our national security. It's not enough just to say we've been attacked, we have those problems. People want solutions. His solution with respect to national security is to say to NATO, I'm not going to stand with you anymore. We're going to leave. We're going to weaken that alliance. We're going to have more nuclear weapons in the Pacific. Those aren't solutions that make people feel safe.
What about
they
keeping
want specific
people out
ideas.
that eventually can come back and kill us?
I don't think there's any disagreement that where we have some suggestion that somebody wants to do us ill, they don't come to this country. Donald Trump wants to paint everybody with the same brush, wants to build a wall, keep everybody out. There's a difference between smart, strong screening and keeping everybody out of this country.
Two quick questions.
Sir.
Are you for a secure border, and are you for allowing the Syrian refugees to come in?
I voted against. I didn't. I actually voted against that bill because I didn't believe that the standards were sufficient.
You disagree with Hillary Clinton on that? Okay, thank you for that. And you agree with that we should have a secure border,
of course,
like Donald Trump.
Well, Donald Trump's idea of a secure border is to build a wall and have Mexico pay for it. It's silly.
It's to have a secure border.
That's
essentially it.
I've not met anybody, Republican or Democrat, who wakes up in the morning saying, you know what, we should have a weaker border. I just don't buy it.
I know, but he's going to do something about it.
But he said he's going to do something about it.
By building a wall and giving Mexico the bill. There's no reasonable person who believes that the Mexicans are say, sure.
Can I just say this?
Where do I pay?
Congressman Steve Israel on the Bernie and Sid Show from Hofstra University, where the debate takes place in, 10 hours from now? Listen, let me just say this. You have the air of a relaxed man.
Yes.
You're tanned, you're rested, you're smiling,
You
you're
look
happy.
great.
You're
Yeah.
retiring from Congress.
And I'm going to become an intern for you guys. I'm unpaid. I make a nice cup of coffee.
But you know what? And the other accomplishment is you're getting out. There's no cloud of scandal around you. None of that. You just decided to drop the hell out.
On my own terms.
Like Michael Jordan. Like Michael Jordan. Hits the game winner. He's a champ.
So let me just ask you. I mean, I read your op-ed in the New York Times that you wrote in January. Yeah. It's tough to raise money. Why are you dropping out?
Mostly because of that. It is insidious. I've been in Congress for 16 years. 5,000 hours in a small room raising money. Had to raise $20 million. I'm tired of asking people to contribute to my campaigns.
You hate groveling.
I think our demand. Yeah, I mean, who could possibly like that?
Sid
so I want to do
mind.
other things with my life.
Doesn't bother me at all.
More time for me to watch my beloved Mets.
Hey, Congressman Israel.
Listen, we 17-0 yesterday. How about that?
How about that? I know. They should have saved those runs for the day before or the game after.
Tonight against the Marlins. I thought you'd stick around long enough to get the Islanders back on the island. Is that ever going to happen?
Well, we should do that. You know, obviously, there's plenty of room here.
Congressman Israel, God bless and Godspeed to you. And thanks for doing this. And we're happy for you. Very happy
Thanks,
for you.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
I'm Bernie and Sid from Hofstra.
And his name is Israel.
Bernie and Sid, 77 WABC.
All right, brother, we're back, and we're going to wrap it up. You did a tremendous 6 hours of work here today between Imus and this program.
Hey, look who's talking. You did a great Bernie and Sid show, the Imus in the Morning Show from Hofstra University. Fantastic. Curtis and Kubi all day long from Hofstra coming up.